y'all, this is Jimmy with Candy Lawn and Property Care. I just want to take and go over this mower, this Z994r diesel. There's not a whole lot of videos on these yet, and so far this season it's got 163 hours on it, and I've really loved it. And just walk my way around it and show you the things I like about it and what I don't like. There's more likes than there are dislikes. Over here on this side of the caster, you got a Zerk fitting for so you grease them up. Another one over here on this side. All the spindles on the deck lift this up. You get to the deck real easy. Got a Zerk fitting there. All the spindles. You go around and grease this thing in about 30 seconds. Now, one of the things I don't like, this little foot panel there, it vibrates. You know, you hit bumps and it vibrates all the time, makes noise. I'm going to take and cut a piece of rubber strip and go across there just to kind of insulate it. Walking on around, this is the 60-inch mulch on demand deck. I really like the mulch on demand. I mean, it mulches up leaves. You can't even tell there was any leaves there. I mean, it eats them up. However, I don't have any in my yard, but the real tall, skinny weed, it doesn't do very well with those. I mean, you run over them and you'll knock them down and they just stand right back up. I don't know, I've read on some forums online that other people have had issues with the same deck with that problem. They've tried different blades, different heights on the deck, and can't really find a solution. So a lot of times I have to double cut just because of that. But anyway, the mulch on demand, just flip that lever. It has some, can't really see them probably, but there's a baffle down here. Whenever I flip it, see that baffle, it shuts down. I really like it. I put a stripe kit on here. This roller, it does a fantastic job striping, as long as the yard isn't too tall. Most of my yards are in this area that I mow. They only want cut like once every 2 weeks, and they get too tall, but it still does a really good job. Like I said, this thing's got 163 hours. It's got the lights here. You can, if there's a fault code, I mean, it'll blink. And whenever I first got it, it had a fault code, something with the electrical system. And it was kind of loud when I first got it, and I couldn't ever really pinpoint where it was. I mean, I could tell where it was loud, but I couldn't tell what was messed up, or if it even was messed up. Well, the exhaust manifold, where the flange comes to the muffler, the weld had a crack in it, and I just kept on using it, and eventually it finally broke. I was in the middle of cutting a cemetery, and it got loud. I thought the thing blew up. Well, when I started looking, I noticed the muffler was loose and figured out what it was. Took it to the shop. It only had like 10 hours at the time. It was in the shop for over 2 weeks because it was when all this COVID started, and they couldn't get the muffler, and they couldn't get any kind of parts. It was crazy. They gave me a loaner to use, and I appreciate that company. Has a little fuel gauge, just a manual. I kind of like that better than the electronic ones anyhow. The Michelin wheels, they're great. They see how they're flat on the ground, kind of like a track. I mean, they have so much better traction than a regular pneumatic tire. everything, it's pretty compact. But I mean, as far as changing the oil and stuff, I mean, your filter's right here. It's easy to get to. Checking your oil, drain plugs on the back. You can change the oil in this thing in about, I think it took me 2.5 minutes the other day. It's got a it's about 25 horse Yanmar diesel. I've got a 1023 subcompact tractor. It's got a little bit smaller than this, but these little diesels are amazing on fuel. I mean, I can go out and run this thing all day long and still have a quarter of a tank at the end of the day. That alone, I mean, eventually that's going to pay for itself. I've got another older mower. It's a gas, and if I take it out all day long, I gotta stop at the gas station 2 times to fill it up. Yeah, I'll lift the seat up here, and your battery, all your fuse panel, all your fuses. And there's your engine fault codes I was talking about before. They'll blink a certain light, and you can come back and read this. Your service required for daily, and this little guard here, it's pretty nice. It gets full of grass and stuff. Just take it off and beat it out. I need to clean the front of the radiator there. It's also kind of noisy though. I mean, riding around, you hear it bumping, but I really like this seat. This is the Comfort Glide seat. It's got up and down suspension, and you can, it goes like, when you're riding around, you go like that, and it takes a lot of the beating of your body. But you can also lock it solid. It's a pretty quiet mower. Kind of rattles around whenever you're running idle, but when you rev it up to mow, it's not too bad. It's pretty quiet mower. I'll go ahead and start it up here. As far as the mower overall, I really like it. Like I said, the couple things vibrating, you're gonna have that on all of them. You can take care of that yourself. And like I said, the little tall weeds that you just knock them down and then they stand right back up after you go over them. That's something to do with that mulch on demand deck. There's other people has had the same issue. I've learned to deal with it. And I mean, this deck's super strong. It's got a step built on it to get up. It's really comfortable. I don't mind running this thing all day long. I have an older Gravely, and every bump you hit, you feel. These tires, they take a lot of the absorption, and then like I said, that seat does a really good job too. They make some type of a suspension for the front. It's the same tire, and then it's like a torsion suspension. I've looked into it. I mean, I really don't need it, but I might purchase it by next year. I'll ride like a Cadillac then. Like I said, that little over 160 hours on it this season. I picked it up in about April. End of March, beginning of April. Close to the same time all this COVID stuff started. And other than the muffler issue, which was a manufacturer defect, I have had no trouble out of this mower. It's nice to just be able to go out and start one up in the morning, run it all day, and just keep up on the little bit of maintenance, grease it up, clean it up. And right now this thing's filthy, but just changing the oil. They recommend not even changing the braking oil for, I think it's 250 hours. That just seemed a little bit long for me, so I changed it at 150. Even that seemed long, but trying to go by manufacturer. But if you're in the market for a nice solid mower, there is not a thing wrong with these John Deeres. I know all mowers are nice. They all have pros and cons, but I've really enjoyed this one. If you have any questions about it, just send it in a comment, and get on my Instagram and get a hold of me, and I'll be glad to help you out or answer anything I know about it. I don't know it all, but I've been running it long enough. I know a little bit about it now. Well, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Take care.